Skyjack, the man who hijacked Flight 3958. The sky is falling. It was supposed to be a short-haul flight across the American heartland. Quiet. Uneventful. Just another dot on the FAA's radar screen. But what happened at 32,000 feet turned into a national emergency. 2 fighter jets, scrambled at supersonic speed, a passenger bound, bloodied, screaming about bombs, and a cockpit broadcasting one of the most terrifying codes in aviation, 7500. Hijacking. This is the story of the man who tried to take over Flight 3958. A hijacking with no weapon, but enough chaos to rattle the entire country. Flight 3958 takes off. June 4, 2025. Delta Flight 3958 departs from Cincinnati/Northern Kentucky International Airport. Destination: Orlando, Florida. 78 passengers. 4 crew members. 1 ticking time bomb, in human form. 9:14 a.m. Flight departs as scheduled. Weather: clear skies, no turbulence. Cabin atmosphere: normal, families, business travelers, vacationers. David Allen Brooks boards with nothing suspicious. 36 years old. Former software engineer. Recently unemployed. Wearing jeans, a gray hoodie, and carrying a single duffel bag. No prior criminal record. The moment it turned. 17 minutes after takeoff, something shifts. The flight attendants notice him pacing, murmuring to himself, his hands trembling. And then, without warning, he charges toward the cockpit. Brooks allegedly pushes past a flight attendant. Screams, "You're all going to die unless I stop this." Tries to force the cockpit door open. Passengers hear pounding, screaming. 1 crew member deploys the aircraft's secure cockpit lockdown protocol. But the pilots already knew. Behind locked doors, they were watching the lights blink and hearing the code words over intercoms. And then, they sent the signal no airline ever wants to send. Direct hit transponder code 7500. Signals active hijacking. The fighter jets respond. Inside 90 seconds, the FAA notifies NORAD. Within 5 minutes, 2 F-16 fighter jets scream into the skies, out of an Air National Guard base in Indiana. Their orders: intercept and neutralize. And they weren't flying blind. The hijacked plane's radar signature was being tracked in real time, 11 miles from the nearest metropolitan airspace. NORAD begins live surveillance. F-16 pilots maintain visual contact. 1 fighter flies wingtip to wingtip with the Delta jet. Passengers see the fighter jets outside their windows. Panic ensues in the cabin. Inside the mind of David Brooks. So who was David Allen Brooks? And what pushed him to the edge? Grew up in Akron, Ohio. Former high school valedictorian. Studied computer science. Worked for a private defense contractor in 2015. Suffered a mental health breakdown in 2023 after job loss and divorce. Diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. Claimed his ex-wife was replaced by a government clone. Posted conspiracy videos on private forums. Believed the flight had been rigged with an aerospace neutron bomb. Shouted, "They're tracking us through the air. I need to land the plane." The cabin takedown. While the fighter jets held their course, passengers in coach were preparing for a fight of their own. 3 passengers, including a retired Marine and an off-duty TSA agent, tackle Brooks. He resists violently, biting one and kicking another. Flight attendant hands them flex cuffs. They tie Brooks to a seat. He continues screaming about the implanted virus and the government signal. Pilots radio NORAD, subject restrained. Request to continue to Orlando. Thanks to quick thinking, Flight 3958 never changed course. But it would never be forgotten. Legal fallout and mental health debate. The plane landed safely at Orlando International Airport. But the man who caused the chaos was met with federal agents, guns drawn, and a crowd of stunned passengers who didn't know how close they came to disaster. Brooks arrested under 18 U.S. Code Section 46504, interference with flight crew. Also charged with attempted aircraft piracy and threats to aviation security. Pleads not guilty by reason of insanity. Judge orders federal psychiatric evaluation. Defense argues he suffered a break from reality, not a criminal act. FAA updates protocols to flag severely erratic behavior before boarding. Candle, what if the system failed? David Brooks never brought a bomb. Never had a weapon. But in the post-9/11 world, he didn't need one. The threat is no longer just in metal detectors. It's in minds untreated, undetected, and unchecked. Mental health crisis in the U.S. Over 5 million untreated schizophrenia cases. Airlines' growing challenge. Balancing civil rights and flight safety. Debate over pre-boarding psychological assessments. Flight 3958 becomes case study in crisis de-escalation and passenger intervention. The question isn't whether it could happen again. It's whether we'll be ready when it does.